OTAs going on, optional team activities in Charlotte for the Carolina Panthers going on over the next handful of weeks. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's that 1 year, granted an atrocious year that the Carolina Panthers suffered, have wiped our brains completely clear of what we thought Bryce Young was, what we know Bryce Young to be. Did it really only take 1 year for the world to forget who Bryce Young is and what he is known for? So let's paint the picture real quick. OTAs are going on. They've had one practice, and much of the discussion on this show and others is about implementing Dave Canales' offense. It's about building trust between Canales and Bryce Young and the rest of the offensive players and integrating high draft picks like Xavier Legette into the whole structure of the offense. There's a notable similarity between the coverage of OTAs for the Carolina Panthers, and it goes across every publication. Right? It's not like one person said it. I have 4 headlines in front of me that I'll read to you, but just know, could be 100, right? It could be 15. If I wanted to go read them, I just think you'll get the picture in 4. Pro Football Talk headline: Dave Canales says Bryce Young has been fantastic learning the Panthers' new offense. The Athletic headline: Panthers OTA takeaways. Bryce Young embraces Dave Canales' way of teaching. ESPN headline: Canales, quarterback Young doing fantastic in Panthers' new offense. Panthers Wire, which is a USA Today publication. Panthers head coach Dave Canales says Bryce Young, fantastic at picking up the new offense. Is anyone surprised that Bryce Young is a smart football guy, has a high football IQ? Why is that the takeaway? Those aren't headlines. Bryce Young is that guy. Hey, everybody. Bryce Young's picking up a new offense quickly. Hey, everybody. He's fantastic at picking up a new. That's the only reason he's in the NFL. Is because he is a football IQ savant. It's definitely the only reason he was drafted highly. Nobody going into the draft, nobody even last year is watching Bryce Young play and go, you know what, I bet you he is who he is because of his physical tools. I mean, Anthony Richardson, he is not. He's not 6'4", 6'5", 240, runs a 4.4. He's 5'10", 180. Runs pretty quick.
Built like Seth Jarvis.
He's built like Seth Jarvis. We don't know if he's that tough yet. If you told me he was tough like Seth Jarvis, I'd be all in. Although it would be more difficult to throw with a torn labrum. Off shoulder, maybe. But my point is, like, let's make sure we don't operate from a point of ignorance or completely unknowledgeable. Let's operate like we know the reason why Bryce Young is because of the football acumen he's shown. Now, last year, for whatever reason, whether you think it's his fault, the supporting cast's fault, the coaching staff's fault, the football acumen didn't exactly translate to success. But at no point in time was anyone suggesting he was out there like running the wrong plays. Right there, every once. Here's a story, and this is a mean story. You should not do this to middle schoolers, but I think it's funny. My middle school football team. I went to a school that had kindergarten through senior year, right? So there was like a freshman year football team that had 7th and 8th graders on it. And one of my coaches guessed that one of the younger quarterbacks didn't actually know any of the plays. He thought he was just, going into the huddle saying, trips right, back 25, whatever, and then dropping back and looking for somebody open. Had no clue where they were going to be running or what they were going to be doing. So one day our coach grabs some of us older guys and he goes, watch this. And he calls over the kid. He goes, I need you to give me a fake 22 blast, with a backside George reverse. You got that? Fake 22 blast with a backside George reverse. Like your life depends on it.
Like, remember the Titans.
There it is. All of us immediately pick it up because we're middle schoolers and remember the Titans hadn't come out that long before. We're like, he's giving them the remember the Titans play. Sure enough, kid runs into the huddle. All right, fake 22 blast, backside George reverse. Ready, break. Just kind of snaps the ball and looks around, sees if anyone's eyes are getting big like they want the ball, and then it's a funny move. No one is doing that in the NFL. All right, Bryce Young was not dropping back going, I don't wonder who's going to be open on this play. The dude is a smart quarterback. He was smart in Nick Saban's system. You think Nick Saban was putting up with a guy that couldn't pick up a playbook by day one? Bryce Young picks up playbook fantastically is not a headline. Just like Yao Ming is tall is not a headline. It's like, yeah, that's part of the reason why we like him. It's part of the reason why he was a prospect. Nobody rated Bryce Young a top prospect because of his physical tools. The only reason anybody wanted to draft him was because of his brain and his football IQ, and then the measurables were good enough. He didn't have Josh Allen's arm, but he was good enough he could make every throw. He didn't have Lamar Jackson's mobility, but he was good enough to move in the pocket. The superpower. I talk about quarterbacks having superpowers, right? You need one. You need something you do exceptionally well for anyone to believe in you. That was all brain space for Bryce Young. It's not news that the smart guy is smart. Based on last year, we can talk about his execution, right? Because it's one thing to know where to go with the ball. It's one thing to know, what the motion is or what the protection is. It's one thing to know what the defense is doing. It's a whole other to execute well against it. As a former quarterback, I can tell you there's a lot of throws. As soon as it left my hand, I'm like, that's not where that ball should be going. I know what the defense is in. I know what our play call is, and I know it should go to that guy. But for some reason, I threw it to the other guy. Those were the things that we can address. Picking up the offense, fantastic. I mean, the fact that fantastic worked its way into 3 of the 4 headlines I read, that's just a coach telling his quarterback, yeah, he's doing fantastic.
They're just quoting Canales.
Canales, yeah, he's doing, because they were asked, and it's, of course. Now, if you don't come in with that reputation, maybe it's a question. If anything last year raised you to believe he didn't know what the playbook was, he's picking it up fast. All right, yeah, yep.
Well, to be honest, I don't think the Panthers coaches last year also knew what the playbook was. Let's be real.
What do you think?
Can't hold that against Bryce.
They're in his radio inside his helmet going, yeah, I don't know, Bryce, do what you want. Thinking some kind of run to the right.
3 little pigs on 2.
They're going, give me a fake 22 blast with a backside George reverse. It worked for Denzel. Listen, OTAs, it's going to be tough to make any kind of massive headlines, right? Because, 11 on 11, the media can't even take pictures or record. Like, it's all behind a shroud of secrecy, right? There's a little bit of cloaking going on there where you're going to hide things. Let's how about this? Ready? Xavier Legette, fast. He's going to be fast, right? He's going to be a specimen. He's going to be big and strong and fast. That's going to happen. If he becomes a super nuanced route runner, boom, headline. Because he wasn't asked to do that at South Carolina. Right? You have to understand where the baseline is with these guys. Maybe even a better example, because it's another veteran coming back. If Ike Ekwonu mows people down in the run game, that's not a headline. He's been a good run blocker. Now, if he becomes, a barrier, if he becomes a brick wall in pass protection, and he's excellent in handling twists and other complicated defensive line maneuvers in front of him, boom, headline. Put that on a billboard, send that everywhere, because last year he struggled with it. Those are the headlines. Right? Man bites dog, dog bites man. Which one's a headline, right? It's man bites dog because it's unusual. That's an old journalism saying. Bryce Young is smart. It's not unusual. The very journalism kind of, it's not really a story side of things. Maybe put on the back page.